Alright everyone, this is my first passion project, D&D Monster Stat Block, and I'm doing it for the Bearded Bard. Your content is mind-blowing. You are an epic, legendary, angelic bard. And I only hope this stat block can do you justice, because you are the Bard of Ages. This stat block is huge. Pause to read. Bard of Ages is a neutral good celestial and is literally Apex Bard. A huge amount of magical AC, hit points, as well as resistances to many kinds of damage. And damn near maxed out charisma. You have angelic weapons, divine awareness, legendary resistance, magic weapons, and magic resistance. Endless music means you know every single bard spell but can only cast them once per day. Your awesomeness aura is like frightful presence, only they're charmed. You have a nimbus cloud you can fly around on. Primarily a spellcaster, but you still have your magical guitar, which is like a maul. And every single time you punch somebody, you might actually charm them. Alright, that was way too much to go over, so let's just appreciate this art. The first monster of our 13k follower D&D Creator Monster Contest, and that is Out of Print GM. When I see your content, I think of a veteran, of a hardened warrior, and a grizzled outlander. That was the inspiration for your monster, and that is the Warborn Grizzly. Alright, Out of Print GM, here's your stats. Pause to read. The Warborn Grizzly is technically a werebear, but he's lost the ability to return to his human form. He was shunned and forced to live away from his town for the rest of his life. He's got keen senses, and he's a grappler and a hardened beast, meaning he's got advantage on all checks made to grapple, saving throws against being charmed, knocked prone, and magic can't put him to sleep. You're really not going to like his bear hugs, because anybody that touches him or attacks him is going to take piercing damage from his blasted plate mail. He's got some pretty standard attacks that you'd think a bear would have. He's going to be making a multi-attack with his bite and claw attacks, as well as his trampling charge. He's going to be causing a lot of additional damage in conjunction with his blasted plate mail. Good bear. Good bear. On to the second winner of the 13k D&D Creator Monster Contest, and that is the Plot Doctor. I look at your content and I see intelligence, I see duality, I see like a storyteller and somebody who's able to weave the fabric of fate itself. And that gave rise to this creation, the Avatar of Fate. Alright, Plot Doctor, here's your massive stat block. Pause to read. The Avatar of Fate is a highly intelligent and very tanky fiend that utilizes magic. It's got legendary resistance and very powerful spells in its innate spellcasting. Much like Ursula from The Little Mermaid, he's got two very powerful serpents at his disposal. He telepathically controls two massive constrictor snakes called Ebb and Flow. Not one to do the damage himself, he does have a scimitar attack, but most of his damage comes from his spells as well as his two legendary abilities. His Dagger of Lethargy does necrotic damage and reduces his opponent's stats, as well as his Tides of Fate ability, which causes psychic damage and fear or charmed depending on your character's alignment. And yes, he's House Slytherin. On to the third and final winner of our 13k D&D Creator Monster Contest, and that is Hills Hall Foundry. Not gonna lie, yours was a tricky one. I wanted to go with like a two-tone theme, but also a shadowy figure. And that was my inspiration for your monster here, the Wraith Judicator. Alright, Hills Hall Foundry, here's your stats. Pause to read. The Wraith Judicator is a flighty, lawful evil aberration. With his Shadow Blend ability, he's pretty much going to be damn near invisible all the time. He can even constantly teleport through the shadows with his Shadow Jump ability. I want to go down to his two featured longswords first. He's going to have a multi-attack with his Red Bane and Moontooth swords. One does additional fire damage and the other does lightning damage. But he also has his Wrathful Overcharge. Anytime he hits the same creature with both swords in the same round, it unleashes a torrent of fire and lightning. Oh, and he's going to be hitting creatures a lot, because he's got counterattack as a reaction as well as Vengeful Opportunist. I would advise to stay away from an enemy if it has a lightsaber, especially two. Alright, I know I'm going out of order from what I said I would do yesterday, but I need to do my man Potty 1993's monster now. You were the banana cult leader of D&D TikTok, and I've been brewing this monster for weeks. I give you the fearsome monstrosity that can rival demon lords. You are the Banana Nanner. Here's your insane stat block, sir. Pause to read. The Banana Nanner is a huge evil monstrosity with a massive well of hit points. He's immune to most conditions as well as normal weapons, meaning peasant weapons do nothing to him. He's got potassium poisoning, which is like an AoE poison spell, legendary resistance, magic weapons, as well as regeneration. Oh, and at the end of each one of his turns, he's going to be spawning little banana minions. He's got a multi-attack consisting of a stringy bit whip, a peeled constriction, as well as a banana nanner blob. His legendary actions are another whip, his split, which is like a leaping pounce attack, peeled Armageddon, which summons 4 more banana minions. The stat block's too long, you gotta read it, man. It's been a long time coming for this creator to finally get a monster, and he is Casey and the Odd Portal. Inspiration for your monster came from the fact you lived in Texas. I lived there as well too for many years. I love your cowboy hats, I love your hat over here that makes it look like chainmail, so this was the inspiration for the Desert Scorch Knight. Alright Casey, here's your stats, pause to read. The Desert Scorch Knight is a tanky little undead that's all about bringing heat to the battlefield. He's got good armor, moderate hit points, and decent stats. His big kicker is the fact that he's got fire absorption, meaning he takes fire damage, he gets healed for it instead. The heated weapons ability means his attacks are always going to do fire damage. He'll make a multi-attack with his flaming longsword as well as his fire breath attack. But his ultimate ability is Burning Sands. It's a lingering 15-foot AoE that causes fire damage and difficult terrain. Oh, and he also takes that fire damage, which, by the way, I remind you, he heals from. Thought that was some pretty good synergy. Perfect representation of summers in Texas, am I right? Third winner of our fan-favorite D&D Creator Monster Contest, and that is Prestidigitation. Aha, see, I can say it right when I'm not utterly exhausted. I took many hints from your content that you were an intelligent spellcaster, and that gave rise to the concept of your monster, the Impellist. The Impellist, a play on the word impel, meaning to force or drive. You are a highly intelligent and durable chaotic good elemental. You're resistant to lightning, thunder, as well as immune to force damage. You've got a short list of very powerful spells at your disposal, as well as limited magic immunity. Oh, and you're a shape changer, meaning you're going to be able to blend in with the populace. A good ability for making friends with the mortals. If things get too rough, you can just simply blink in and out of the ethereal plane with your etherealness. Or when your enemies just aren't getting the message, you can always use Disassemble. It's a touch attack that does a huge amount of necrotic damage, as well as a chance to destroy a certain body part. Alright, I hope this monster suits you, because it looks really awesome. On to the fourth winner of the D&D Creator Monster Contest, and that is Snark and Bourbon. First of all, head on over to his page, help this man get 1K. And all of your content shows off your intelligence, you're funny, as well as taking an obvious hint from Book Dragon here. And that was the singular inspiration for your monster, the Book Dragon. Alright, Snarky, here's your monster. Pause to read. The Book Dragon is a medium-sized dragon with good intelligence, charisma, and actually low physical stats. Spending his days in the library, he prefers to cast spells and use his stealth. He's got magic resistance, shadow stealth, as well as knowledge is power and acute observer. He can recall any piece of knowledge he's ever read, as well as place hunter's marks on his targets he studies. He's got a multi-attack with his bite and tail whip, as well as a good amount of damage-dealing spells to keep him safe. And all good dragons have their breath weapon. He shoots out purple fire that does fire damage, as well as placing the fairy fire effect on its target. Hey, there is nothing wrong with cuddling up to a good book. Made it to the final winner of the 20K D&D Creator Fan Favorite Contest, and that is Grumpster Fire. From your content, I get the idea that you're driven, dutiful, and mysterious. I wanted to wrap all that up in a psychic damage-dealing package. You are the Githzeri Hitman. Alright, Grumpster, here's your stats. Pause to read. Githzeri is a damage-dealing hitman who's got great AC and great stats across the board. He's got mental strikes and psychic defense, meaning his wisdom modifier is added to his damage as well as his AC. He's got some innate spellcasting, but mostly for utility purposes. But where he really does the damage is on the front lines. He's a tavern brawler, means it's going to be very difficult to grapple him, and he's going to be all up in your business. He does have a pistol for doing long-range damage, but he likes to use his unarmed strikes, which cause psychic damage, as well as his ultimate ability, his Temporal Strike. It causes massive psychic damage, as well as blinking the target forward ahead in time, effectively making them lose a turn. Alright, Grumpster, I know you're going to like this one. There we are, perfect. Winner number 1 of the 25K D&D Creator Monster Contest, and that is the Nerd Cleric. I did take inspiration from your username, but as well as several other subtle hints in all of your content, leading me to think that you need something a little bit darker. So I present to you my take. You are Buffy the Vampire Cleric. Alright, Nerd Cleric, here's your stats. Pause to read. Buffy is a vampire-ish humanoid with decent stats across the board and a good well of hit points. Your kit is all about life-stealing and regeneration. You're resistant to necrotic damage as well as regaining 16 hit points at the beginning of every round. You have some innate spellcasting as well as a unique ability, your Red Mist Cape. It allows you to fly as well as doing a necrotic damage AoE. You're going to be making unarmed attacks but also deal additional necrotic damage. And your ultimate ability is your Life Drain. Every 4 rounds you do a ranged spell attack that does massive necrotic damage and heals you for half of it. Combine that with your regeneration and you're damn near unstoppable. Glorious artwork, I hope you like your monster. On to the second winner of our 25K D&D Creator Monster Contest, and that is Emily Gray Moore. Several words I would use to describe your character from your content is intelligence, strength, and a traveler. And that was the inspiration for your interdimensional elemental traveler, the Remily. Alright, Emily, here's your stats. Pause to read. The Remily is a large, well-traveled elemental being of pure energy. She's got great armor, hit points, as well as good stats across the board, especially in intelligence, as well as several damage resistances and immunities. She's inscrutable, immutable form, as well as innate spellcasting and her raw energy form, meaning any creature she touches or touches her is going to take lightning damage. Her 2 melee attacks are also items that help her guide her way. Her lantern staff causes lightning damage, as well as her brazier causes lightning and psychic damage. Also has a chance to paralyze its victims. And her big boom is her energy ball, causes massive lightning and psychic damage. This is gorgeous. On to the third and final winner of the 25k D&D Creator Monster Contest, and that is this abstract thought. Inspiration for yours, sir, was very simple. You're a sinister magic caster and you want to be evil. So I designed your monster to do just that. You are the Rodalex. Alright, abstract thought, here's your stat block. Pause to read. Rodalex is an evil undead spellcaster with good intelligence, wisdom, and surprisingly good strength. He's got a long list of damage resistances, immunities, and condition immunities, as well as turn resistance and legendary resistance. And his entire spell list is nothing but pure evil. Despite his buff physique, he's not going to be doing too much necrotic damage with his Havoc Staff. He's going to be all about casting spells all over the battlefield. His legendary abilities are awesome. He's got Sickest Mockery, which causes psychic damage, as well as the target suffers disadvantage. His ultimate ability, Meow, which also causes psychic damage and the target to be frightened. This is some awesome art, and have you also tried to say the word Rodalisk backwards?
I like your funny words, Magic Man!